everyone, welcome to another video from Simplilearn. Today, we will see what is MATLAB, MATLAB GUI. We will understand the MATLAB variables, types of variables available in MATLAB. Next, we will see how to create a data types in MATLAB. Then we will see MATLAB operators. And we will see how to create scripts in MATLAB. Some of the basic math operations. Then we will see MATLAB functions. At last, we will see how to create our own functions in MATLAB. Before we move on, please subscribe to our Simplilearn YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to get an update from us. Now, let's begin the session by understanding what is MATLAB. MATLAB is a versatile computer program that performs a mathematical calculation, visualization and programming at high speed. You will be amazed to discover more about this software once you begin to use it. Even though if you are not a coder or know nothing about coding, you should not be worried because MATLAB is a beginner-friendly software. Now, let's see MATLAB GUI, that is a graphical user interface. The GUI of MATLAB is very user-friendly and interactive. Here, you will see the available tools, where they are, how to use them and also get familiar with the MATLAB software. Now let's go to the MATLAB software and see how the GUI looks like. Now we are in the MATLAB software and this is how it looks like. MATLAB software has a tabs like Home, Plot and Apps. When coming back to Home, we have different sections in Home like File, Variables, Code, Environment and Work Resources. In File we have how to create a new script, new live script. We can open a new file, new script or new functions, new class, new project, etc. And we have options to find a file and also have an option to compare a file. In variables, we can input data from our device, we can save our workspace, we can clear the workspace, we can create a variables in the variable section. In code, we can analyze the code, runtime of the code, clear all the commands, and if you want some code to be added to our favorites, you can do that too. In environment, we have layouts, set a path to a file, etc. In resources, you will get a help where you will get an online documentation like how to run a code in a MATLAB or any error or how to implement any code in a MATLAB. In Help MATLAB or Learn MATLAB, we will see how to run any code or how to use the MATLAB GUI. And we have a plots where you can plot a different type of graphs like area, bar graph, scatter plots, pie, histogram, etc. where you will use for data visualization. And when it comes for apps, we have so many code analyzer, data cleaner and so many other options, TCP and IP explorer to create any types of apps. Coming back to Home, we have one more section called Create a Folder. This is where you can see where you are working in the MATLAB. For example, in C drive, we are using user and mine and document. In document, we have created a MATLAB. In this MATLAB, we are working all this. This is a workspace where all the variables you create or any types of values you give will be stored here and will be displayed here in the workspace. And this is the command window where we will execute all our commands or give any variables or create any data types and etc. Now it's time to understand MATLAB variables. Here, we will see what is MATLAB variables, how to create them and what are the applications in them. Generally, MATLAB variables are used to store data and that can store any kind of data like scalar, vector and matrices. Basically, there are three methods to initialize the variables in MATLAB. It is assign to data and a variable to assigning statement. It input data into a variable and from the keyword. And at the last is to read the data from the file. Now let's understand all this in the platform. Let's see how to assign or store a variable. For example, if you are trying to assign a value to a variable A, you can do that by doing A is equal to 10. See, now we have assigned a value 10 to a variable A and also it is displayed in a workspace like variable A is created and a value for it is 10. Now let me try in a different way. For example, like C is equal to 4 plus 5 minus 1. We can see that it's a 4 plus 5 minus 1 is a calculation. We have assigned this calculation to a C. Now the answer of this calculation should be stored in C. 4 plus 5 is 9, 9 minus 1 is 8. And we have created a variable in the, if you see in the workspace, there is a variable C and a value 8 is assigned to that variable. Now, what if I am not assigning a variable to a calculation and just giving a calculation to the software? Will the software take up that calculation and give me the answer? Let's try. I'll just give the calculation directly to the software without assigning it to a variable, that is 5 plus 6 minus 1. See, if you are not assigned this calculation to any variable, still you will get an answer, like it will be stored in the variable answer and the answer is 10. I can give one more calculation like 6 plus 5. See, as you can see, the variable answer's value is updated. Like the answer was, the first it was 10, now it is updated to 11. You can see like in the workspace, if it will be a value where it is recently updated. For example, if first the answer's value was 10, now it recently updated to 11. You can also change the value of any other variable which is already created. For example, A is already created and its value is 10. You can also change this value by A is equal to 10 plus 1. Sorry. See. Now the value of A is changed to 11. Like this you can see, like you can do any types of, you can create how many types of variables you can want, and you can also assign arrangements as any values you want. The value which is recently assigned to that variable will be displayed in the workspace. Now let's see how to insert a vector or a matrix into a variable. For example, I'll consider a variable y. And I'm now inserting a vector or a matrix to a variable y. To do that, I'll use y is equal to square brackets 1 space 4 space 5 and then press enter. See, as you can see, I have inserted a vector for a variable y which consists of element 1, 4, 5. And is also created in the workspace. To create a vector to a variable, you should give the values within the square bracket, and there should be a one space between the variables, within the values that you enter. You can also give it as y is equal to, instead of giving space, you can use comma and enter. See? The value is updated now. The value is updated from 1, 4, 5 to it's updated as 1, 2, 3. Now let's see how to assign a n matrix to a value for a variable. For example, I am taking a variable x is equal to, using square brackets, I'll give 1, 2, 3 space, and to separate one column to another column, you will use semicolon. Then the elements for the next row, that is 5 space 6 space 7 8 9, then close the square bracket and enter. Now you can see we have a x variable which has a 3 cross 3 matrix, which element 1 2 3 for the first row, 4 5 6 for the second row, 7 8 9 for the third row. We can also do this using commas. For example, I'll update the x is equal to, open square bracket 1 comma 2 comma 3, and use semicolon to separate the rows, 7 comma 8 comma 9 semicolon 4 comma 5 comma 6, close the square bracket and press enter. See, now the values on the matrix x has been updated. These two rows has been interchanged as per the given input. Now, what if I don't want a values in any of the position? For example, I don't want a value in the second row first position. In the position of 7, I don't want any value to become there. I want it to be a 0 or blank position. How to insert a matrix like that? Let's try. X is equal to, first row 1 space 2 space 3 semicolon. I don't want any value in this position, so I'll give only 2 values for that row, that is 8 space 9 semicolon, and the last row as it is 4 space 5 space 6. Close the square bracket and enter. See, we will find an error here because the array's dimensions are completely different. The software does not consider the change of elements in the rows and columns. Like as we entered 3 elements in the first row and 3 elements in the last row, the middle row should have 3 elements in the middle row, and if you don't want any element in that particular function, you can do it as x is equal to square bracket. I'll take the same elements 1 space 2 space 3 semicolon. Now I don't want any element in this position, so I'll mention it as 0 space 8 space 9 semicolon 4 space 5 space 6. Close the square bracket and enter. See, in the place of 7, now it is updated as 0. If you don't want any value in any particular position, you can just mention 0 in that particular mention and give the value to the variable. Now, what if you want to create any matrix or assign a value for a variable where that matrix contains a random numbers? Like without a user input, it should be a random. For that, we can do it as, let's take a variable z is equal to, we will use a keyword called magic. Magic. Within the parenthesis, you can see with, like if it is a 3 cross 3, we can give 3. If it is, if you want 2 cross 2, you can give 2. It's up to you, and close the bracket and press enter. Now you can see this Z matrix as of elements which is a random elements from 1 to 9. You can also do it the same to the 2 cross 2, like I'll take it as F is equal to magic of, I'll give 2. It will be a 2 cross 2 matrix. See, this matrix contains elements from 1 to within 5 is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It will arrange randomly. You can, if you want any number of any 3 cross 3, 2 cross 2, 4 cross 2 matrix with the random number, you can use magic keyword to create them. Now, what if can we create a matrix or a vector without assigning them to a variable? Let's try. Open a square bracket. 1 space 2 space 3 comma 4 space 5 space 6 or 7 comma 8 space 9 space 1. Close bracket, enter. See, we can also create a matrix without assigning to a variable. As I said before, it will print as answer is equal to that element, and it will be updated in the workspace. As we see, answer before it was, as we did in the up and before, like answer was 11. Now it is updated as a matrix, that is we enter the element like 1 2 3 4 5 7 and 8 9 1. Like this, if you can create a matrix without assigning to a variable also. Now let's see, can we create 2 cross 3 or 3 cross 2 matrix, that is without having an even number of rows and columns. Let's take it as y is equal to square bracket 1 2 only 2 rows, sorry 2 columns, 3 like again 2 and 4 comma 5 and 4 and 5 square bracket close. See, we can also create without having a even number. For example, without having 3 cross 3 2 cross 2, we can also create 2 cross 3 or 3 cross 2 matrix. Like again trying for one more, z is equal to square brackets, I'll take 1 5 4 and 1 6 7 square bracket close, enter. See, we can do it. We have already seen how to create a variable. Now let's see the types of variables. We have different types of variables in MATLAB, like numerical variable, where we can assign a numerical values to the variables. Next, we have a string variable. Here you can add words, combination of sentence and characters to the variable. Next, at last, we have logical variable. It is the variable which has only a logical values, it is zeros and ones. Now let's see how to implement all this in MATLAB. If it is a numerical variable, we can directly assign a value like as we did before, a is equal to 10, it will be assigned, or c is equal to 10 divided by 5. Like this, for numerical variable, directly you can assign a value to a variable. When it comes for string variable, we can assign a string variable to a variable like b is equal to, will use a semicolon and enter hello, close. See, we are giving a string variable or a string value to a variable b. We can do this using string keyword. For example, I'll update the value of b like b is equal to, I'll use string, and inside the bracket using semicolon, then we will give hi. See, now the b value is updated as I. You can either give using semicolon, or you can also use the variable string to give a string value to a variable. For creating a logical variable, we use a logical keyword like, for example, d is equals to logical, open parenthesis, in square bracket, we have to enter the value. We know logical variable contains only two values, it is zeros and ones. I'll give 1, 0, semicolon 0, 1, square bracket close and parenthesis close and enter. See, D is equals to a 2 cross 2 logical array. As we are creating a 2 cross 2, it will say 2 cross 2 logical array which contains 0, 1 and 1, 0. Now, what if we give any other numbers like 5, 6, 7 in the place of the real values like zeros and 1? What happens? Let's see. I'm taking a variable e is equals to logical I, 6, 7, 8, square bracket close. See. While creating a logical variable, if you give any value apart from 0 and 1, it will take it as 1. For example, if you give a logical value here, instead of giving 5, if you give 0, it will take as 0. Apart from 0, if you give any numbers from 1 to 9, it will automatically treat it as 1 and print it as 1. For example, let me say one more scenario like f is equal to, instead of giving other numbers, I'll give 0 for the first number and then give 5. For second one, I'll give 8 and 9. See, if you give 0 in a logical, it will take, oh sorry, like I forgot to mention logical, let me repeat it. 0, 5, semicolon 8, 9, square bracket. See, in the place of 0, it directly takes as 0. Apart from 0, if you give any numbers from 1 to 9, it will treat it as 1 only and take it as 1 and print it as 1. Now it's time to understand MATLAB's data types. MATLAB has a huge varieties of data type like char, complex, double, int, logical, string, struct, unit and fixed point. Now let's see how to implement all them in the platform with an example. Now while implementing the data types, first we will consider as a character data type, like we will assign a character data type must be a consist of an alphabets. For example, we can do that using y. We will take a y is equal to, within the semicolon, within the inverted commas, we will give the values like double inverted comma. I'll give hello and enter. You can see now we have given a variable y with a value which is a character type using a double-ended commas. You can also do this using a string variable as we did before. When we have to assign a complex value for a variable, then we can say like z is equal to 4 plus 6i, where I represents the complex type. When we press enter, you can see z is assigned with a complex number. But similarly, you can do this for the other data types like integers, floating point, etc. For integers, if you particularly want some integer 16-byte value to be assigned for a variable, for example, x is equal to, I need int 16 bytes value to be assigned for a variable x. Now for that I'll give a value 6. Now you can see the variable x as a value 6, which is of int 16 data type. You can do same for the int 32, like x is equal to int 32 bit of, I'll give 4. Now x value is updated as 4, which is of int 32 data type. Till now we have saw what is the MATLAB GUI, variables and data types. Now let's understand the MATLAB operators. An operator is a symbol that tells the compiler to perform various numerical or logical operations. There are several operators in MATLAB like arithmetic operator, arithmetic array operator, relational operator, relational array operator, logical operator and bitwise operator. Now let's see all these implementations in flat form along with the size and whose operations. Before we continue with the operators, you can see there are many variables created in the command window as well as in the workspace. So many variables and values. Now how to clear them all? As we don't need them, like how to clear them all? To clear all the variables name and the values in the workspace, we can use the command clear all. Like clear all. You can see all the names or variables and its value which is assigned or which are used previously has been cleared from the workspace. Now how to clear all the commands in the command window? For that you can use clear screen command, that is CLC. See, all the work command that you have done previously in the command window has been cleared. Firstly, we will start with the arithmetic operator. We can perform the basic arithmetic operator like assigning or directly entering the value, like 8 plus 5. We are doing addition operator, like it is 8 plus 5 is 13. And we can also do 5 minus 2, that is 3. And we can also do division, like 24 divided by 2, that is 12. All this we can do without assigning to a variable, where we already know that is that answer variable will have the answer or will contain the value of the operation. We can also do this by assigning a value or a variable to a value, like a is equal to 34 divided by 2, like a will be 17. Similarly, for multiplication, I can do like c is equal to a into 2. Sorry, a into 2. Now, what we did is we already have a variable which is containing the 17 as its answer, which has been given a calculation, that is 34 divided by 2. A variable as a value of 17. Now, we are multiplying this 17, that is the value in the variable, into 2 and assign it to a c. So 7 2s are 34, that c is assigned with the value of 34. Like this, you can also give, now for example, you can also perform division for, like I'll take a d variable. Now I will divide the d variable. Now I will give the d variable should contain a value, that is c divided by 2. It is 17. The c variable should have as a value of 34. Now the d variable should have a value which is of calculation of c divided by 2. As we know, c is 34, 34 divided by 2 is 17. Like this, you can perform a arithmetic operator, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division any kind of arithmetic operator without assigning to a variable or with assigning to a variable. Now we will see arithmetic operations with arrays. We can create two matrices, as I already created one matrix using a magic command 3, which I have a random numbers of elements, and one more matrix which I have created giving a user input. Now let's see the arithmetic operations for these two matrices. Now what if I want to add these two matrices? Like I'll do x plus y. X plus y is 8 plus 1 is 9, 1 plus 2 is 3, 6 plus 3 is 9. Likewise, each column and each row has been added x and y elements and printed the matrix as an answer. We can also do subtraction like x minus y, like 9 minus, again it did 7 minus 8 minus 1 is 7, and 1 minus 2 is minus 1, and 6 minus 3 is 3, and again it assigned to an answer. Like what if I want to multiply these two matrices, like x into y. See, this entire matrix has been multiplied, like these two matrices has multiplied 8, 1. Now, what if I want to multiply a single matrix with a particular number? For example, let's say x matrix, I'll print again. This x matrix, I want this x to be multiplied by an single number, like element wise multiplication. For that, how to do? For that, I can do it as x into, I'll put dot into, I want this multiplied by 3. See, now this entire x matrix is multiplied by 3, like single element is multiplied by 3. Likewise, I can do it for y also. First, I'll print a y matrix. This is a y matrix. Now, this entire y matrix I want this each element of y matrix to be multiplied by 2. See, 2 1s are 2, 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6. Likewise, each element of that matrix has been multiplied by 2. Similarly, we can also give the power, transposition, or I can do division of matrices. For example, I can divide x by y. See, I have got the floating point values by dividing x by y. I can also divide y divided by x. Now we can also, next let me print x matrix. Now we can also power, give power raised to 2, 3 or any numbers for each element. Element wise power we can also give. We can do that by using x dot cap. I want this to be, each element to be power 2. We can do the same for y. Y, I'll print the matrix. Y in dot power of 3. This is how we can do arithmetic operations for arrays. Now let's see for the relational operator. For relational operator, now I'll create a 2 matrix, that is 2 cross 2 matrix, that is A is equal to from 1 to 3. Sorry, and one more row I'll include 4, 6, 7. And one more B is equal to some random numbers like 4, 3, 1, then again 4, 1 and 6. Now you can see these are the two matrices A and B which have been created using the usual methods of creating the matrix. First we will check whether the matrix A is equal to matrix B. That is A equals B. See, as we did press enter, we can see there is a true cross 3 logical array has been created. Now, this array contains only 0 and 1 logical real values. Like, how is it possible? When we are performing an relational operators into any matrix in MATLAB, if each element matches, then it will print as 1. If does not matches, it will print as 0. For example, as we see, the first element in matrix A is 1 and the first element in the matrix B is 3, which is not matching, so it is as printed as 0. And the last that is in the position 4, first element in the second row and the first element in the second row of both matrix A and B are equal, so it is printed as 1. If the elements are matching in both the matrix, it will print it as 1. If else, it print as 0. We can also perform other other relational operators like A is greater than or equal to B. If it is true, it will print it as 0. If it is print it as 1. If it is false, it is printed as 0. Now we can also check it for A is less than or equal to B. We can also see A is not equal to B. See, if A is not equal to B, then it will print 1. If A and B are equal, it will print to 0. Between A is greater than or equal to B, and what is the difference between A is greater than or equal to B? For example, see, I'll print A is less than or equal to B. It is a logical array which has 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. Like first we will print what is A. Okay, and well, let me check what is B. You can see the first element in the A is 1 and the first element in the B is 3. Is 1 less than 3? Yes. So it printed as 1. And similarly for other elements. So what if we print A less than B? See, if when we are printing A less than or equal to B, if the values are less than, it will check for first condition, and second condition it will check if it is equal. For example, when we see the element 4 in the A and element 4 in the B are matching, it will print 1 in A less than or equal to B. In the case of A less than B, it will only check if the first value of element A is less than second value of element B. If it true, it will print 1. If not, it will print 0. Now, while performing the logical operator, first we will create two matrices of logical elements or real values. Let me take it as Z is equal to 1, 0 and 1, 1, 0 and 1. And one more matrix I'll take D or H is equal to 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. Now, we have two real value matrix, that is a logical matrix. Now, let's see how to perform the logical operators to this matrix. First, we will perform logical AND. Z and H. As we know how the logical AND or anything will perform. So as per the values we have given, it will do the calculations. Now, to know the size of a particular variable, we can use a keyword called size. For example, we know we have created a variable called Z. We'll print that variable, and if we print size of Z, it will give the size of our variable. It's a 2 cross 3 matrix. We can also do it for one more variable, that is size of, I'll take it as Y. See, the size of Y is a 3 cross 3 matrix. You can do for any variable that you have created. If you want to know the size of that particular variable, we can get it by using a keyword called size. Now, what if we want to know more about the variable apart from the size? In that scenario, we can use whose keyword. That is, whose. If you print whose, here they will give what are the variables or the name of the variables which have been created while working or in the workspace, and the size of that variable, that is a 2 cross 3, or what is the size what is the number of bytes, which class which they have created, the entire details of the variables created in the workspace. Now it's time to see how to create scripts in MATLAB. Now let's see how to create scripts. Before getting into our scripts, let me clear all the command window and the workspace by giving clear all and clear screen command. Now, to create a script in MATLAB, first we have to go to the new script, which is in the home button. In the file section, we have a space, or we have a button called new script. Click on the new script. Now you can see our command window is divided into two parts. One is into a script part and one has it as a command window. Now you can write any kind of scripts or a program, anything inside the script. For example, I'll write a is equal to 5, b is equal to 6. I want c is equal to a minus b. Now, when we press enter, it won't run. As we were doing in the command window, for example, in the command window, if you give a is equal to 5 and press enter, it will show the output. But in the script, if you press enter, it will go to the next line. To get an output, to get a run in the script, you have to press it on the run button. As soon as you press on the run button, automatically it will ask to save the file. You can save the file with any particular name you want, and you have to mention .m. .m extension is for MATLAB. Then press on save. Now you can see your file has been saved as the particular name we have given and inside the folder which I have been working. I am working inside the MATLAB. Inside the MATLAB, this file name has been saved with the extension m. Now to get an output of this code, you should just press run. See, as you can see, first it will print the file name which has been printed. Next it will print what is the variable a, what is the value assigned to the variable, that is 5, then what is the next variable, that is b, what is the value assigned to the variable, that is 6, and at last what is the calculation you are giving, or what is the command that you are giving for c, that is c is equal to a minus b, c is equal to a minus b, that the answer is minus 1. Now, when you see our command window, you can see we have the input and the output both. Like the input which I have given by the user is also printed and also output is printed. Like now, what if you don't want that input to be printed, you just want the answer to be printed in the command window. To do that, so after giving and assigning a value, for example, a is equal to 5, after assigning a value, close using semicolon in both the input values, then run. You can see again it will print the file name and it will print only the output, only the value c is equal to minus 1. Like that you can avoid printing the input values in the command window. Like this you can also create n number of scripts as you want. How many scripts, n number of scripts you can create, and you can perform any operations, like you can perform any basic programs by writing that code inside this scripts. And if you don't want it to be your inputs to be printed in command window, you can enclose them using a semicolon. And if you want your command line to be inputs to be come in the command section, you can erase the semicolon and just press enter. Using scripts, you can write any basic programs like addition of two numbers, reversing a function, or to palindrome prime number or not, like that. Any basic programs you can write in the script function, or using creating a new script you can use it. If you, after creating all this, if you don't want your script to be displayed in the window, you can just cancel it. If you want it, you can save the changes. If you don't want, you can just delete it and your command window will be back. Let's have a look at some of the basic math operations in MATLAB. Now let's perform some of the basic math operations in MATLAB. Before doing that, let me clear my command window and the workspace. To perform a basic math operations, I'll create two matrices. That is, A is equal to, I'll create one 3 cross 3 matrix of and B matrix with the element 6, 7, 8, and I don't want to be any element in this first element of second row. Like I'll just give it as 0, 4, 5, 7, 2, 1. Close the bracket and enter. Now we have two matrices. The basic operation first we'll do addition. I'll say C is equal to A plus B. C is equal to A plus B. Each element, like 1 plus 6 is 7, 2 plus 7 is 9, 3 plus 8 is 11. Same process will be taken by the middle row and the last row. Now, what if I want to perform a subtraction? Like same wise, I'll do it as C is equal to A minus B. C. Our A first element was 1 minus 6 was minus 5. 2 minus 7 is also minus 5. 3 minus 8 is also minus 5. Now, what if I want to do multiplication of these two matrices? That is, C is equal to A into B. That is 5. Our first matrix was 7. Now, the matrix multiplication, 3 row and column. As the matrix multiplication takes place, it will take as per the first row, first column, second row, second column, and third row, third column. Well, one of the important points that you have to keep in your mind while doing matrix multiplication is to maintain uniformity in the number of columns, number of rows, and number of columns. For example, if you have two matrices, that is A and B, that should contain same number of rows and same number of columns, because as we know, matrix multiplication will takes place as per the first row, first column, second row, second column, and third row, third column. To happen the matrix multiplication, each matrix should have a same number of columns and same number of rows. For example, let me take a matrix that is Z is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll take one more Y is equal to 1, 4, 1, 6, 5. Sorry, 6, 5, 6 or 5. Enter. Now I have two matrices, that is Z and Y, which is of 2 cross 3, 2 cross 3. Now, as I said before, to do a matrix multiplication, the number of rows and the number of columns should be same. Now let me see, can I multiply Z into Y? Can the matrix multiplication be happened between these two matrices? No, error, because the number of rows in the column Z within the matrix Z does not match the number of columns in the Y, because it has 3, it has 2. So to do matrix multiplication, the number of rows in one matrix should match with the number of columns with another matrix. For example, if I update the Y is equal to 1, 2, 2, 4, and 4, 5, and now perform a matrix multiplication between Z into Y, will get the value. So keep in your mind that whenever you perform a matrix multiplication, the number of rows of one matrix should be always equal to a number of columns with the other matrix. Now, what if you want the two matrices of different rows and columns should have to multiply each other? What to do in that case? For example, let me print Z. What is Z? Z is a 2 cross 3 matrix, and I'll print Y, and I'll just change the values of Y into a 2 cross 3 matrix, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now our Y is this and our Z is this. I have two matrices of 2 cross 3. Now I want these two matrices to be multiplied. What to do? For that, I'll do it as assigning this to one more variable called D is equal to z dot star of y. See, now each element of y has been multiplied with each element of z. Like this, you can multiply the elements which are of different rows, that is, which does not follows the rules of matrix multiplication. It does not have a same number of rows and columns. Let me take one more example and explain, for example, let me see for one more example. Let me say x is equal to, I'll take as 1, 2 and 4, 5. It will be a 2 cross 2 matrix, and one more I'll take it as y is equal to 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now I want to multiply every element of x with every element of y. That we will do it as assigning d is equal to x star dot star of y. See, every element of x has been multiplied with every element of y and it is assigned to a d variable. That was for multiplication. What if you want to divide two matrices? For example, let me just clear all my workspace, clear all, and see. Let's see. Now I'll take one more matrix. It is z is equal to with elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And one more as y is equal to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 2, 1. Now we have a 2 matrix. Now I have to divide x by y. That is, c is equal to x divided by y. No, we can't. Now, you see how to divide this. To divide this matrix x divided by y, we have to do it as x is equal to, c is equal to, assign this to any variable, c is equal to x dot divide by y. Now, every element of x is divided by every element of y. Like this, you can do the division of two matrices and assign to a variable. Without assign to a variable, so we can do it as x dot division of y. It will assign to a variable called answer. Now it's time to see some of the math functions. Functions are the task or a set of tasks that are performed to a given set of input that to convert an input into a preferred output. Some of the common functions in MATLAB are trigonometric functions, exponential functions, logarithmic functions, and square roots. Now let's see how to implement all these functions in platform. In trigonometrical function, we know we have multiple functions like sine, cos, tan, cosine, cosecant, and secant. And we also have cot. Now let's see how to implement or how to use all these trigonometrical functions in MATLAB. First, let me take sine. Sine of inside bracket, I'll see sine of 0. What is the value of sine of 0? Sine of 0 is 0. Let me check it for cos. Cos of 0 is 1. Now we know tan is sine by cos. Now let me see what is the value of tan of 0. Tan of 0 is also 0. The tan is cos by sine, that is 0 by 1 is 0. Now these are some of the basic trigonometrical functions. Let's move on to the exponential. Before moving on, let's clear all the workspace and command window. You can also go for some of the other trigonometrical functions like cosecant, cot, secant. And when it comes for exponential, we will try some of the exponential commands, how to do exponential operations in MATLAB. The exponential in MATLAB will be represented or can be written as using ESP. Now let's see what is the exponential of 1. The exponential 1 is 2.7183. Like that, you can also check it as what is the exponential of 5. the exponential of 5 is 148.41 like that. You can also give for what is the exponential of 180. If you take it as degree, the exponential of 180 is 1.4 something imaginary values. Now what if you want to find the log values? For example, what is the value of log of 1? Log of 1 is 0. And what is the value of log of 2? Log of 2 is 0.6931. You can also find of log of exponential of 1. What will be the log of exponential of 1? There is no log of exponential of 1 because I have not closed the bracket. Let me try it once again. Log of exponential of 1 is 1. You can also use it as log of, let me send log of exponential of 0, close two brackets, and log of exponential of 0 is 0. Now what if you want to find the square roots of any number? For that you will use as SQRT. Square root of, for example, take it as 100. Square root of 100 is 10. You can also try it for one more, that is square root of 4. I'll take it as 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Like this, you can find the square root, logarithm function, or exponential value of any numbers that you want. Now, we will see how to create or define our own functions in MATLAB. Now, let's see how do we able to create or how do we able to define our own functions. By just mentioning or defining that particular function, the software will understand that you are giving the command to perform that particular functions in this command or in this operation. To create our own function, just go to the home tool, and in the file section we have a button called new. In that we have function. Click on the function, we have a function. In the output, one output parameter, replace it as y. I am giving as y. Then I should name my function. I am naming my function as my fun, and inside that I am passing a variable called x. Next we have to say what my function should perform. I am printing this here like I'll give y is equal to x plus, or y is equal to 30 plus x. First, we have to create a new function. In that, we have to replace our function by a function name and pass one variable, then assign that variable to one more function variable. Now, inside that function, we have to write what operation that function should perform. Now, I am writing that my function should perform, that should add 30 for every x inputs. For every input I give, it should add by 30. Now, first we have to click on run. It will automatically ask us to save the file. While saving any function, keep this point in mind. The function name and the file name should be same. The function name of my function name is fun, my fun, and my file name should be myfun.m. .m is for extension of MATLAB. Save. Now you can see my function name has been saved. Now why I got error is here because I have created one variable, my function of x. Now I have to pass a value for that my function. So I'll do it as my function. Inside bracket I'll pass it as 20. Press C. My function y is equal to 50. That is my function. I have passed x value as 20 and y it is already has 30. 30 plus 20 is 50. We can also we can pass my function of 100. It is printed as 130 as it has already has 30 and it is printed as 100. Now If you don't want this y is equal to 30 and answer is equal to 30, you don't want this to be repeated. For that, you can mention semicolon here, and then if you run like my function fun of 100, only the answer will be displayed here, the y value won't. If you don't want your function to be displayed in your windows, you can enclose it by a semicolon. Like this, you can create a function and you can name your function, and you can pass any number of variables you want to your function, and then define a simple equations. As I mentioned, the simple equation is y is equal to 30 plus x. You can mention any kind of your equations to your variable, and if you don't want that to be printed in your command window, enclose it with the semicolon. With this, we have reached the end of this session. Today, we learned what is MATLAB, its graphical user interface, how to create variables, scripts and functions in MATLAB, some of the basic operations in MATLAB. Please like this video and share with it your friends. For more such videos, visit our Simplilearn YouTube channel. For any queries regarding this topic, mention it in the comment section. Thank you. Keep learning.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.